Good morning. Welcome to Time in His Word. Have you ever found yourself in a place you couldn't figure out how you got there, or what, and more importantly, why you ended up there? From what you can see, there's no good reason or purpose that's going to be served with where you're at. In Acts, the 16th chapter, starting in verse 16 and going on through the rest of the chapter, I think it ends in 33. No, going down to down to 40, 16 through 40. It's talking about Paul and Silas, and they were in a village. They weren't really doing anything except sharing the gospel. And in my Bible, in the margin, I've got written verses 16 through 33, example of salvation in the simplest form. They wasn't doing anything special. They wasn't saying, you had all these requirements to fulfill in order to become a Christian. They were basically saying, if you believe and accept that Jesus Christ is the risen Savior, you're saved, and then you follow him in baptism. Well, there was a slave girl, and she was possessed, and she was following around screaming about how bad they were. Let's see. Yeah, following after Paul and us, she kept crying out, saying, "These men are bondservants of the Most High God. Who are they who are proclaiming to you the way of salvation?" That's all she was saying. And they got tired of it, and they turned around and commanded the demon to leave. Well, that made the owner of the slave girl mad. And anyway, long story short, Paul and Silas end up in jail in shackles in the worst part of the prison. And the guard is ordered to guard them and make sure they don't escape. So in the middle of the night, Paul and Silas are singing praises and worshiping, and the ground shook, and the doors burst open, and all the chains were undone. So the prisoners could basically just walk out of the jail. Excuse me. The guard got all nervous and started to kill himself, and Paul said, no, don't do that, we're here. And then as the passage goes on, the guard accepted Jesus as his Savior, and Paul and Silas come to his house for a meal. And so basically what I'm getting at is that no matter where you find yourself, even in a bad spot like Paul and Silas did in the middle of jail, by no really wrongdoing, just the public didn't like what they were saying, but yet they were to take a negative and make it into a positive. And sometimes we forget that, myself included, that we might end up in a place that we can't understand why God has us there or how we ended up there, but all we need to do is look around and see what needs to be done and go about doing it. And we'll never know the outcome until we step forward. It's kind of like stepping out on faith. I mean, you're in an unfamiliar place, but yet you try to do the best you can to make that unfamiliar place a positive. And it could be something as simple as meeting somebody who has a stronger walk than you do, and at the end of the conversation, words they spoke help you in a struggle you was having without even realizing it. So rather than, if you're placed in a position where you don't understand why God has you there, rather than being negative about it, look around and see what positive can come out of it. As I said last week when I traveled out west, I don't care to go out there, but I go out there, try to go out there once a summer, because the mountains are bigger and the downgrades are longer, so it's kind of a refresher course on mountain driving. I try to make a positive out of it. I joke about it, but at the same time, I try to make a positive out of there. And I don't mind going out there once a year, but I don't want a steady diet of it. That's for sure. I'm comfortable running where I do, but it's one of those, it's good to get out of your norm, your comfort zone every now and then and try something new And who knows, you might like it. That's what I get a lot about this passage here. While Paul and Silas ended up in jail by no wrongdoing on themselves, they were able to turn it into a positive. So as you go about your day to day, if you find yourself in a spot where you have no clue as to why God has you there, take a look around and see what opportunities are there that you can use to your benefit or to God's benefit, and you'll be amazed at what can happen. Who knows, you might find a ministry that you've been looking to do, and by being in a place that you weren't expecting to be there, you find something that you truly enjoy and love to do, and make it grow. But it just comes down to, rather than looking at the situation you're in and just, oh, woe is me, turn it around and look for the positive. Look for something that you can do to glorify God in the bad situation that He's put you in. And that's the whole purpose of it. And we've all experienced that over the years in a situation where we don't understand why we're there in that, but it's what we do in those that makes the difference. And I firmly believe as you grow and your walk in Christ and you end up in those type of situations, that you'll be able to recognize the opportunities quicker and pounce on them quicker than you did, say, a year ago, 5 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago. But I just, like I said, I feel that God puts you in those situations so that you can grow. And that's the whole point of studying His Word, and that is to grow and being able to share His Word with others, no matter where you're at or no matter what you're doing at that moment.